Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 9:52 a.m. News and views on Salam Media. We're wrapping up by talking about a very, very important journey of a lifetime. We're talking Hajj, and we are going to talk about SAHUC's readiness for the 2024 Hajj pilgrimage. And of course, it's not only SAHUC, it's the Hujjaj themselves as well. So we'll be talking with the president of SAHUC, and that, of course, is you, Moaaz. Casoo. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Sister Julie and to the listeners and viewers of Salam Media. I trust you're all doing well today.
With your du'as, alhamdulillah. It must be pretty hectic on your at your end, at SAHUC particularly, because I understand the first batch of Hujjaj are going to be leaving very shortly within the next few days. Am I correct?
Yes, correct, 100%. Alhamdulillah, with the infrastructure and the resources at our disposal, everything seems to be going quite well within our team. Yes, it is quite hectic at the same time. And inshallah, the first Hujjaj will be departing from OR Tambo as well as Cape Town on the 8th of May. That will be the first group. There's a total of around 69 to 70 Hujjaj that will leave from South Africa on Wednesday night, inshallah.
Moaaz, I read somewhere that this year's the number of South African Hujjaj, the quota was actually decreased rather than perhaps staying the same or increasing. If that is so, can you explain why there was a decrease in the numbers being allowed to attend Hajj?
There hasn't been a decrease in the numbers. The base quota for South Africa has always been 2,500. That is the current base quota that we have. And each year, that is the current base quota that we start with. What has happened in the past is each year, from time to time, the ministry would offer South Africa an additional quota. Maybe 500, maybe 1,000, just depending on the available quota allocation that is available globally for the ministry to offer to various countries. So take, for example, last year, our quota was 2,500. That is what we started off with. But at the later stage after Ramadan, the ministry provided us with an increase in the quota of 1,000 Hujjaj. At this point in time, we're continuing the discussions with the ministry to see if they can facilitate for South Africa an additional quota or not. Currently, no countries has received an additional quota. So it's not only South Africa. Every country starts with a base quota, and thereafter the ministry will determine if they have available space in Mina and Arafat to accommodate additional Hujjaj, and at that point in time when they would provide to the various countries an additional quota if required.
And I think sometimes we overlook that factor, don't we? The issue around space and services, because you're having to provide for X number of people in a very confined space, and you've got to try and make it as comfortable as possible for all of the Hujjaj. So sometimes we forget those type of issues, which are really very, very important for the smooth sailing of everybody's Hajj for that matter. Having said that, then I'm wondering what the South African waiting list looks like currently.
So at this point in time, it's nothing under 8 to 10 years minimum. That's what we're looking for. Yes, it is quite long, but if you look at other countries like Singapore, they have a lesser quota than South Africa. They have 1,000 quota, and they go up to 20 to 30 years, depending on when people register. So it's not just South Africa who has this backlog. You take Malaysia, Singapore, you look at Mauritius we were speaking to. These countries have a longer waiting list than South Africa. I mean, Malaysia are going into many years. I mean, some of them are saying up to 50, 60 years, if not longer. When the people are born, they tend to register already for being a Muslim country. So it's not something unique to South Africa. I think it's a global phenomenon, and the biggest challenge is MENA. But having said that, if the listeners and viewers have seen the photos we've shared around January, alhamdulillah, there's some good signs where they're building structures in MENA to accommodate additional Hujjaj as part of the Vision 2030. And the plan is to start housing close to 5 million Hujjaj by the year 2030, inshallah. So we're seeing this vision coming through. And inshallah, within the next few years, when those structures are up, hopefully they'll increase the quotas for all countries, inshallah.
Inshallah, Amin. And those would be in high-rise structures because that makes more sense, does it
Correct,
not?
correct, 100%.
Moaz, so far, as far as SAHUC is concerned, has it been smooth sailing so far? What type of challenges have you picked up this year around? Or has it been very much same old, and what would they be?
Look, I mean, it's fairly similar each year. Obviously, the biggest challenges we found this year was the e-Hajj system, the ministry system, where we
Mm.
obtained the visas, we got to secure the bookings for the camps, the accommodation for the Hujjaj in Mecca, Medina. The entire process has changed with the ministry. And it did provide us, the operators, with a lot of challenges. Alhamdulillah, we managed to overcome those challenges and we almost fulfilled our visa requirements for this Hajj. We've got up till tomorrow to conclude it. We only have two South African visas which we need to process, and then we have 25 foreign national visas which we need to process thereafter. So, Alhamdulillah, from a South African perspective, everything seems to be on par. Yes, there has been challenges, like I said, with regards to the payments that's got to go through the EH system for your housing and it. But Alhamdulillah, we've managed to secure everything for our judge. Everything seems to be in order. When it comes to on the ground, I think there's going to be a lot of changes this coming Hajj. We will find out over the next few days of these new implementations from the ministry. I think it's still too early to call because these change on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. But other than that, it's normal run of the mill, if you want to say. It's just we're finding that a lot of things are being automated now, where in the past it was manually done, and that's causing a bit of delay with regards to processing the requirements for our job.
And undoubtedly, you will be talking to us on a regular basis to update us regarding Hajj 2024. But let me ask you this final question before I let you go, unless you have something important you'd like to share with us. Regarding the upcoming elections, how's that going to impact on the Hujjaj who would like to cast their votes whilst they, the first lot are leaving this week? Have they engaged, has SAHUC engaged with the department or the IEC or whomever it is that you're meant to be liaising with regarding people on Hajj wanting to cast their votes?
Yes, we have been in consultation with the South African government, especially the Consul General in Jeddah. His team inquired from the IEC with regards to voting for South Africans that will be abroad, especially during Hajj, as well as the residents in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So the voting date is going to be the 17th of May 2024 in Jeddah at the consulate. That is the day that has been allocated for South Africans that are going to be on Hajj. Obviously, we have published the requirements and the prerequisites for any Hujjaj wanting to vote. But if you want to vote, you're going to need to contact your travel operator for the necessary arrangements. And the reason being, majority, if not all, the South Africans that will be in the kingdom during that specific day are probably going to be in Medinatul Munawwara, which you're looking at 5-6 hours away from Jeddah if you're going with a bus. And if you're going with a train, obviously it's maybe 2 to 3 hour duration you've got to keep into mind. The challenge with Hajj, you cannot move freely between cities when you're on Hajj, and you need to obtain permission. Hence, you're going to need to consult with your travel operator, and you also got to make sure that there's going to be cost, which is going to be for your account to travel between the various cities, because that was not part of your package when the operators offered it to you at the time of your acceptance of accreditation. The other thing we need to keep in mind is voting will be from the morning till the evening. And like I said, it's going to be a challenge if you're going to be based in Medinatul Munawwara to travel to Jeddah, as we need to obtain special permission for you. If you're going to be voting and if you're going to incur a cost, make sure you take your South African ID with you and you complete the relevant documentation as per the IEC requirements to allow you to vote remotely and not at your current registered voting station.
Thank you indeed for that. It's very important information that obviously the prospective Hujjaj need to be aware of, very especially if they're quite determined to cast their vote. Moaaz, shukran very much for talking with us this morning. We will be keeping regular contact with you or someone at SAHUC throughout the season of Hajj. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts, keep us in your du'as, and salamu alaikum to you.
I mean, Jazakallah, thank you very much for the opportunity. And yes, we look forward to being on your program, providing the Hujjaj updates. And we wish all the Hujjaj a Hajj Maqbool, Hajj Mabrur. SAHUC is here to serve you to the best of our ability. Inshallah, we look forward to meeting you at the airports, on departure, arrival in the kingdom, as well as at your hotels and at the clinics if you need to visit us if you're not feeling well. Shukran jazeelan. Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen, Ameen, Thumma Ameen. Salamu alaikum to you. It is exactly 2 after 10 o'clock, and of course, that means the wrap up time for news and views this Monday morning, right here on Salam Media. Till tomorrow morning at the same time as always. A shout out to our producers, Naz and Naidu, and of course to you, Abdul Salam. Thank you for your hard work and the lovely program that you've put together. So till tomorrow. As always, Salaam alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.